Hi, in this video I'll be showing you this. It's the Lubluelu TPH06 Cordless Vacuum Cleaner. And what I want to do today is to show you around the vacuum some of the features and benefits that it offers. Also I'll give you a demonstration of it and test it to see how well it performs. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just give us a quick thumbs up. So let's get the vacuum unboxed. Now I must admit it is a brand I haven't really come across myself. I've done a bit of research and actually they're quite a big company, Lubluelu. I do like the name. It's something a little bit different. Lubluelu, a little bit of a tongue twister, but I like that. As you can see, there's quite a big book of instructions here. There is a lot to go at, but it's in quite a few different languages. If you follow me on YouTube, you'll know I'm not a huge fan of instructions. I normally like to figure things out for myself. So at the moment, I'm just going to pop those to the side. Anyway, so we've got the main wand here. I do like this colour. I know it's not too relevant when it comes to a vacuum cleaner, but I just think it's quite a nice colour. Anyway, so we've got a couple of cleaning tools. We've got a cleaning brush here and some raw plugs and screws. That's going to be for putting the wall mount on the wall. This is a double action tool. What do we got? We have a crevice tool. Take that off there. What have we got? So we've got a filter. We've got a charger. That's quite important. Clearly being a cordless vacuum cleaner, that's really important to be able to recharge it. And we've got the wall mount as well. I'll cover all these bits in a moment. Main floor head. I must say it's pretty lightweight. That's something that is quite important in a vacuum cleaner. I know when we have people in the showroom, the weight of the vacuum, when we're talking to customers, the weight of the vacuum is really a very, very high priority. And also the body of the vacuum itself is pretty lightweight, especially compared to a lot of other vacuums. So here we are. This is as I say, the main body of the vacuum. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to put all the packaging to one side and then we can start to have a look at the vacuum itself. First of all, I'll show you the main body of the vacuum. As I mentioned earlier, it is very lightweight. It's only around 2.5 kilograms, which if you're comparing that to other cordless vacuums, it's actually really lightweight. When it comes to using the vacuum, it's actually a really nice vacuum to hold. You've got a rubber bit at the back here. Now, I know it's not too relevant, but it just means that when you're holding the vacuum, it's a little bit more comfortable than just having a basic plastic handle. The on and off switch is actually, I'll just show you this because this is really good. You don't have to keep your finger on the trigger. There are other vacuums on the market, I suppose similar design to this, that you have to keep your finger on the trigger, on the button all the time for it to operate. And that's not ideal. We do have a lot of customers come into our store and I suppose when they try them out, they're not keen on having to keep your finger on the trigger. As I have a further look around the vacuum, you've got a max button on top. Now that depends on the suction that you're after. On this vacuum, you'll get a maximum of 50-minute run time. Clearly that will depend on the surface that you're vacuuming on, whether it's a hard floor, carpet, also the tools as well. That can make a big difference. But what you'll find is that you've got the maximum suction. I'll just show you that. So you can hear there's quite a difference. I suppose all I'd normally recommend is that if you just generally vacuuming, so especially if it's on a hard floor, things like wooden floors, ceramics, wooden floors, then it's always better to try and vacuum on the minimum suction because you'll find that the runtime is a lot better. Clearly, if you're going to be vacuuming on the maximum suction, if you've got a really dirty area, that's, for example, if the kids have dropped some cereal and if you need to get all that up, then if you're using the maximum, then it will reduce the runtime a lot. When it comes to emptying the bin, couldn't be easier. You've got a button on the front here. All you do is you go over to a bin, press the button, and that drops down. So nice and easy. I'd normally recommend emptying this kind of bin on an outside bin. I wouldn't really do it on the inside, because you can find, because the capacity on this is around 1 litre capacity, which is actually really big if you're comparing it to other vacuums within the similar price range. But as I say, I'd recommend doing it outside, because you can get dust coming back up at you. If you want to give it a bit of a clean, then it is nice and easy. You just press the button on top and that comes off there. So I'll just show you this. You have got two, well, you've got an arrow on the side and you've got the padlock on the side as well, just showing you that if you twist that, that's it, then that comes off. Now it's just showing you on the side here, it's got some instructions on how to keep the vacuum nice and clean, because you will find if you've got clean filters within the vacuum, it can make such a huge difference to the performance of it and the pickup ability. Really what it's saying is to keep the filters clean and to wash them. Really with any vacuum cleaner that I talk about, I'd always recommend that once you've washed the filter, to leave it for around 24 hours to dry. Now for some of you that's okay, because if you vacuum in say once or twice a week, it's not really an issue. For some people, especially if you've got say pets, or if you've got several children that are a bit dirty around the house, things like bringing muddy football boots or muddy shoes in, making a mess, then you could find you vacuum in a lot more often. So really what I'd recommend is to go and buy a spare filter, because some people will want to vacuum within that first 24 hours of the filter being dry. Now fortunately what Lubluelu have done is they've thought about that, and as you saw when I was unpacking it, they've provided you with a spare filter. Now personally I think that's brilliant. It's just thinking about the future, and all that means is that when you've washed the first filter, that's drying nicely, you can pop the second one in and start vacuuming straight away. And as far as taking this apart to give it a good clean, then all you need to do is just pull that out. You've got the inner shroud there that can be, I suppose, not necessarily washed. Some of this, especially when it's metal, I wouldn't really recommend getting it wet, but at least you can get a dry paintbrush on it and a microfiber cloth. And similar to inside the bin, at least you've got access. It's nice and easy to just get a cloth in there just to give it a nice good clean. So I think as far as taking it apart, it's ever so easy, really easy to maintain. And then when it comes to putting it back together, all you do is you just pop the top on there and then just locate it at the bottom. So all you do is, you'll see you've got a little hook just at the bottom there. Just locate that there. That clips back into place, and then you're ready to go. You've got one more filter at the back. All you do is you just press those two side buttons, that comes off, and then the filter just unclips. And then when you're ready to put it back on, you just pop that on there, and then that just clips back on. Clearly being a cordless vacuum, you're going to need to recharge this at some point, and you'll notice that you've got the charging point just in the side here. That's the charger I showed you earlier. Now that's really easy to just pop in there. Normally takes probably around 4 or 5 hours to fully charge, which is quite standard for a cordless vacuum. Another thing to point out is that a lot of cordless vacuums, I suppose nowadays, have a sealed battery within the unit. What I'm really pleased to say is that Lubluelu have gone one stage further, and if you press the button under here, you can actually remove the battery. Now what this means is that I suppose it's not so much a huge advantage at the moment while you're using the vacuum, but what it does mean is that over the years of owning any cordless product, not just a vacuum, it could be a drill or any power tool, things like that, that the battery life starts to decrease. So although to start with you'll get around 50-minute runtime, you'll notice over the next 3 or 4 years that starts to reduce. Now what this means is that you can actually buy a spare battery or buy another battery to pop in the vacuum, and then that saves you having to buy or replace the whole vacuum itself. And then when it comes to popping the new one in, you just put that in, clicks into place. I'll show you some of the accessories it comes with. First of all, you've got the standard crevice tool. That's a popular tool, I suppose, really with any cordless vacuum. That's good to get down the side of sofas, also into smaller areas if you're limited. You've got this tool, so this is a double action tool. If you press the button on the top, first of all you've got the upholstery section, and then that doubles up as a brush on the top there, so it's quite a soft bristle brush. and those tools just pop in the front there. They just clip into place and then nice and easy to remove. You have got the main lance or the wand, so this will just pop into there like that, and you'll notice you've got the button on here to release it. It's quite a nice solid feel. I'm really impressed with that. Just underneath you've got a button here, and what that will do is that will increase or decrease the length of the pole. Again, that's a really good idea, because you will find that first of all some people are different heights, so when it comes to vacuuming, we have found some people are sort of vacuuming a bit like that if you're a little bit shorter, but it's just really good to have the flexibility. I suppose most people will find that they won't necessarily keep changing it, but I suppose when you first get it, you adjust it to the height that you're comfortable with. And then you've got the main floor head. Now that just pops in the bottom there, but I'll just show you the floor head itself. You'll notice that you've actually got, although both of these are red, you've got soft bristles here and you've got hard bristles just on the other side. That's a really good combination for things like hard floors and carpets. And you'll find if you want to take the brush out at the bottom, you just press that, so just pull that out the side, and then this just pulls out here. So you can take the brush out, give it a good clean. As I say, couldn't be easier. It's a lot easier than some manufacturers where they will actually, you need to unscrew the base. That gets quite tiresome, and you just put that back in at the side and then clip that back in place. You do get this cheeky little tool with it as well. First of all, you've got a brush on one side, and also you've got this which has got the blade on it as well. The blade is especially useful for getting things like hair off of the main drive head. So if you've got hair wrapped around it, then just pop that along it. Just be careful. I know it's sort of enclosed within the tool, but I still recommend being careful with it. Just pop it on there and then drag it along, and that should cut through the hair nicely. One of the final accessories it comes with is this. This is the wall mount. Now I did show you earlier it comes with a couple of roll plugs to put in the wall. Once you've got it on the wall, then it's really easy to pop on there. Now all you need to do is just clip it over, and then that can sit on there quite nicely. You will also notice that on the left hand side you have got space for a couple of the tools as well, and that's really well thought out, because some manufacturers, what they're doing is they're providing you with a wall bracket that comes with, say, 2 holders, but you get 3 or 4 accessories. So you're finding that you've had to put a couple of tools on here and then a couple somewhere else, which isn't ideal. So I think enough talking now. What I want to do is to try a couple of demonstrations on it. Now the first one I'm going to use is porridge oats. Now I do particularly pick this because it can be really difficult. The carpet I'm vacuuming on, which is in a showroom, is really quite difficult. It's quite a wiry carpet, so a lot of the food tends to get sort of almost within the wiry carpet. So we'll try to on maximum suction just to give it the best opportunity. I'm really impressed with that. I have tested vacuums over the last sort of 3 or 4 years that are a lot more expensive than this one, and they haven't got as much up as that. You will notice, I'll just quickly show you on the front here, you have got some LED lights. Now that's really good. I suppose if you vacuum in the day, it's probably not too relevant, but if you're a sort of person that likes to vacuum in the dark, or especially if you're going to vacuum in certain areas, say in corners, or especially if you're going to vacuum under a bed or under a sofa, then having the little LED lights on the front can be really useful. Now another test I want to do is some sawdust on the floor. Again, some vacuums really struggle with this. That's particularly why I picked the porridge oats and the sawdust. So let's see how well we get on with this. still very, very good. I know it took several goes to go over it, but that's particularly why I pick the porridge oats and the sawdust to go onto this carpet. A couple of things I should have mentioned earlier. First of all, the filtration is actually a 5-stage HEPA filtration. So if you are concerned about things like allergies, then this is a really good vacuum to consider. Also, when it comes to the vacuum in itself, I know I've just shown you a demonstration of it in maximum mode, but if you are concerned about the noise level on it, if you had it on the reduced mode, so if you had it on the lower setting, then you're looking around 68 decibels. And again, if you're comparing that to other vacuums on the market, that's actually really good. If you're thinking about buying one of these vacuums, I have provided a link below to show you where to get one at a competitive price. Hope you enjoyed this quick video on the Lubluelu TPH06 Cordless Vacuum. As mentioned earlier, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just give us a quick thumbs up. What I do is I normally talk about cordless vacuums, household appliances, and sometimes there's a bit of tech in there as well. I suppose as far as the vacuum, if you have got any questions on it, because I'm sure there might be things I've not mentioned, then just pop it in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.